never. Fucking idiot. So I'm watching a video today about what the fuck was the guy's name? I wish I remembered his name. He was at a post office, and of course, because he's filming, douchebag gets a fucking hair up his ass. Says he can't be in there, blah, 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 blah. Ends up calling the cops. So the cops that show up, one of which is this huge fat bitch. And she's the sergeant. And she's got saddlebags that make Angela look skinny, you know? I mean, seriously, she's fucking huge. Like, huge. The saddlebags on this woman were gigantic. Her name's Dunaway. Sergeant Dunaway. Rachel Dunaway, I believe. R. Dunaway. And so she's one of these, oh, I don't care if you see me, I don't care. Because she knows that we pay for it. If you sue cops, the people pay for it, right? Which is terrible, you know. But I really do, I don't think females should be allowed to be cops. And I stand by that. And it opens up the door. I don't think females should be allowed to be judges. I don't think any of that shit. And if they are, I think there needs to be more stringent testing. I don't think you should make the qualifications easier so females can do them. And I definitely don't think I mean it should be it's crazy. We've all, if you've ever been in any sort of relationship with a female, or even have a mom, have sisters, have, females in your life in any way, it's an absolute fact that when they're on their periods, they're completely, totally compromised. Can anybody disagree with that? Can anybody tell me that I'm wrong when I say that? Now, I admit that there's probably a couple of chicks out there. There's definitely, I've actually run into a couple of chicks throughout my life that when they were on their period, it wasn't as obvious. But that's a rarity. The vast majority of females, when on their periods, are bitches. So to think that then they're just allowed to do whatever to handle people's lives. When you're talking about cops, you're talking about ruining people's lives. A perceived slight or chip on their shoulder, and they think you're being disrespectful or whatever it may be. I've seen tons and tons of videos of female cops acting a fool. And the thing is too, if anybody can show me one video, just show me one video where a female cop is dealing with somebody who is escaping or angry or whatever it may be, and they handle it on their own. I saw a video a couple days ago, where somebody was stealing from Target, and the guy came out of the Target and she was like, stop, come here. And he just took off running. And she didn't even bother running after him. And she told the story twice to two different people on her body cam. She was like, yeah, and I told him to stop, and he was like, and he ran, and I was like, that was her excuse. And I was like, because she's not going to go running after him, which puts everyone in danger. Do you not understand that? Somebody that's running from the police, if they're willing to run from the police, they're desperate. They're willing to do shit most of us wouldn't be willing to do in the first place. So when they're desperate to get away, they're way more likely to carjack somebody, break into somebody's house, take somebody hostage, whatever it may be, because they're for whatever reason, they're not thinking correctly, they're trying to, whatever it is. So every time you have one of these females who I mean, it's not like they say, give me the hardest test possible so I can show you guys I'm the best. I see cops all the time, little females, 5'2" pretty girls. What's a 5'2" pretty girl gonna do? There's a video from the 90s where this little tiny white chick is the cop, and this huge black guy is the guy she pulls over. He's in a minivan. You can easily find it. He has his daughter in the car, and in the van. She pulls him over. She's like up to here on him. She's really small. She has him come out to the back of the car. She's going to talk to him. I think she even goes to try to put him in handcuffs. So he's like, what? And he just blasts her. And then she falls down, and he punches the shit out of her a couple times and fustigates her face. And like, it's a really horrendous video. It's an awful video. And then he drives off. And I just, like, you think he would have been as likely to do that if that was a man? I don't think so. I think he saw an opportunity and he made it work for him. He got the fuck away. They eventually caught up to him and all that shit, but whatever drugs he had or whatever he had in the car, it was long gone by the time they got to him. And then you take it to that next level. Take it up to the like, like the thing is, I am totally supportive of women. I believe in equality. And I know that might sound wrong, but I believe that if somebody is compromised once a month for a week, 1 week out of every month, man or woman, they shouldn't be allowed to do that job. We're not talking about bagging groceries or some shit. We're talking about people's lives on the line. They can shoot people if they want to. And there's no, like, there's no program that looks into it and says, okay, because you're not even allowed to ask females about their menstrual cycle. This totally natural process, this totally, normal thing that we're all supposed to respect. As a man, you're supposed to respect her. She's going through some shit. It's, it sucks. And I would imagine it sucks. You're all crampy. You're all bloated. You got fucking wet butt all the, sitting in blood all day long. It's fucking gross. Tampon shoved up your cooch, whatever it might be. I totally think that sounds horrible. And I would hate to be put in that position. So to think that you might be irritable, you might be short-fused, you might not be as reasonable as you normally are, because you're dealing with all of those horrible things, especially if you happen to have like a heavy flow period. But we don't have any sort of programs that then go and look and say, okay, let's check this woman's complaint history. Let's check her history. And can we see that on the week that she's, normally menstruating, that there are more, less, or equal amount of complaints against her? Did they do that? No. What about judges? The idea that a judge could be in that position, she could be having a horrible, heavy flow, fucking nasty period. Could be just feeling like total shit, super crampy, super in just pain and all that. And she's going to decide, she's going to oversee over, divorce cases or any sort of things where it's a man versus woman. That doesn't sound fair. That's like having a J judge when the crime involves J people. And then pretending like there's no, conflict of interest there. Like with the Michael Jackson Bolanos witch hunt involved, over Samantha Wool. I'm really, like, this really bothers me. I ended up sending Rachel Dunaway, a message asking her, like, can you show me your performance reviews that show me that you're just as capable as the men in your precinct? You big fat broad. That's terrifying. And I've seen so many videos where it's like a takedown and the female's there and the men do all the work. Or if a female is having issues, she calls for male backup. Why do we have that? Why is that even a thing? Why are men not getting jobs because they have to have females in place? There's probably a quota and shit. How is that fair? How is that legal? I have a huge issue with this, and I really wish I could even get more answers, but of course I can't, because there's no one I can talk to. There's no, I can't call the courts and ask them. They'll just be mad at me. You can't say that. You can't think that way. I'm not allowed to think that women are the physically inferior species. Do I also have to pretend like the WNBA is any good? Because it's not. The WNBA is terrible. It's such a joke. And this is the part about equality I just don't understand. Like, if we're going to be equal, then if you don't... WWE wrestling is a great example of it, right? The females are awful. They're just terrible. And if you watch the crowd doesn't respond nearly as well as they do when it's men. And yet, and it's because the females don't put on as good a performance. They can't physically do the things the men can do. They botch things all the time. They screw shit up all the time. And yet, because they're females, they get to keep their job. If that was a man that was performing on that level, he would be fired. And that's the, a big part of the problem is equality is you have to perform. As men, we don't get that. We don't get, oh, well, I'm not feeling good, for this week, so I don't have to perform as well. Well, I think I can't do pull-ups, so I shouldn't have to, there shouldn't be a requirement for the amount of pull-ups. Now that it's not that you can do 10 pull-ups, it's that you can just hang there for a minute or some shit. It's stupid. And you have to ask yourself, why if we're like this advanced progressive society, why do we do this? Why do we engage in this? Why do we not call this out? This is just stupid. Female cops put us all in danger. They're not as good at their jobs. They're just not. And at the same time, I don't think big fat ass men should be allowed to be cops either. Why are men allowed to be cops if they're out of shape, overweight? The cops are supposed to represent the best of us. They have the ability to kill people and not get in trouble for it. So shouldn't they be the best of the best? I mean, we all know that it's like, 2 years of school to be a barber and 6 months at the academy to be a cop. They're already undertrained and, they're just bad. I mean, how many of you are going to pick the girl like you got to pick a team for fucking anything physical? You're going to pick the girls over the boys? No. The girl would have to prove that she is better than the boys, and she's just not. And I don't know. I'm so sick of it. And I think if we were to actually like look back at it and really do an in-depth, dive into it, we'll see that many lives were ruined unfairly by women. Nobody ever makes that argument. Look at these dumb comments. Look at how nobody can actually make an argument. So they just say dumb shit. It's amazing. Obviously, this dumbass did not watch Hollywoodism. What a stupid ass. What a stupid ass. It's this level of stupidity is who gets to vote, and who this is why democracy is such a failure. Because 51% of the people have to agree. That's it. 49% can disagree all they want. It doesn't matter. You're fucked. But even shit like Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism is not about how they were mistreated. The beginning part is. But even that's just the narrative that they give. I mean, you're stupid if you believe people are a female thing. It's just whatever. It's the truth. You can get as mad as you want that I'm telling you the truth. But, you can't deny it. And when you things like Hollywoodism, where they make the movie bragging about how they control Hollywood, and they even say at one point, the American dream is actually the J dream. They created the narrative. Now, I don't understand, or I don't expect like the majority of you to understand it, to understand what you're seeing, especially not the first time. You've been raised in a society to not see it. But like I always say, if I made the same movie, if I made Hollywoodism, and I used people of color, and instead of we and us, I said they and them, it would be panned. It would be called, anti-Semitic tropes and all these dumb things. That's just not true. I mean, just think about the fact that they've convinced you that it's some sort of racial slur, which again, they're not even a race. But it's some sort of slur to say that the Jays have all the money, the power, and the control. That's not a negative, that's a positive. Why would anybody ever, like, how dare you say I have money and power and control? That's terrible. But that's part of that trick. That's how they get you. So instead of you talking about who is responsible for the way things work, who could make a difference if they wanted to, they have you thinking you're not allowed to. I'm just not allowed to say those things. I'm not allowed to say those things. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. But again, look at the arguments I get. Just plain old stupidity. And the thing is, they've made you stupid. You're supposed to be stupid. You believe in things like pledging allegiance to flags. You believe that you're not supposed to talk about one group of people who are committing genocide right now. Who constantly get caught raping children in Hollywood. You're not supposed to talk about that. You're not supposed to say that they have the money and the power and the control. The Rothschilds own the central banking system that all but like 2 countries in the world have. The same central banking system. Meaning they control the money. And he said it at some point in history. I care not who makes the laws, just let me be in charge of the money, something like that. But if the Rothschilds are Jays and they control the money, then the Jays control the money. It's just fact. You know, it's the same stupidity across the board. They have us stupid. If intelligence was truly celebrated and encouraged, then things wouldn't be the way they are. Things are the way they are because of stupidity. The same people that'll bash Muslims all day long won't say a thing about the Jays because they've been told they're not allowed to. Which is just crazy. You're not allowed to say anything. Ask yourself, if we all have, if it isn't really a one world system, then why does everybody agree that they should have national anthems, that they should have flags with all the same symbolism on them, that they should all have constitutions? The Constitution is just nonsense. It's weird, the First Amendment authors and their obsession with the Constitution, which is basically like, because again, people believe that if your parents or grandparents had sex here, that gives you more rights than somebody who happened to be born in a more oppressive place. It really is fucking crazy. I don't know, I see it across the board. It really, it's all that same stupidity. It's just, it's ingrained in everything because it has to be. If you're concerned about Diddy right now, you're a fucking idiot. Diddy is such a small piece of the problem, but they're making it out to be like he's the mastermind. And he's just a small piece. Diddy was given his position. What about all the people that were like, let's have a party at your house, Diddy? Throw me a party. Diddy was just some guy. It's not like he's like this brilliant genius who's just like, show me one of the Breaking the Band stars that went on to become something if Diddy's so great. But Diddy's just, it's like Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell being found guilty for human trafficking and shit. But how do you traffic to nobody? You can't be trafficking people if there's nobody else involved, but that's just how you're supposed to see it. And it's the same stupidity all the time. You're welcome. Y-O-U-R, welcome. Gotcha. So stupid. It's stupid. The stupidity is here. Looks like the crybaby who needed help. Please, somebody come help me. Had somebody he knows come and talk some shit. When again, it's just more stupidity. Like anybody that's sitting here arguing, like you can't make a good argument for why females should be cops. You can't make a good argument as to why the Jays shouldn't be held to the exact same standard as everyone else. Or why we should even continue to accommodate such a disgusting cult. But if you don't even know you're yours, then, your opinion doesn't even matter. I don't know. I see that the narrative being pushed on us, the same stupid narrative, the same keep the goyim stupid narrative. And personally, I don't like it. I don't know why you do. You know, I don't know any of you that would be like, yeah, you know what? I want a woman who's on her period to preside to preside over my case, my divorce case, or this girl said I did something, I didn't do it. Give me the woman that's on her period. That's who I want to be the judge. Is anybody gonna say that? No. Yeah. Does anybody want the woman on her period to show up to their problem at their house? Especially if it's some sort of domestic situation or something along those lines. Is that what you want? No. Well, I was going to chase after him, but talk about fucking weird. There's just so much. There's so much to Hollywoodism that really, you know, why, if the Jays absolutely controlled Hollywood like they did, they admitted to doing, why were there only 2 Hollowhoaks movies made during the Hollowhoaks? And they were made by Goyim. Maybe it's because they hadn't gotten the narrative figured out quite yet. You know, again, the strangest part is it's all about equality when it comes to the women thing. You know, I'm supposed to be, I'm supposed to be understanding and compassionate for you going through your menstrual cycle, which is a horrible, horrible thing. You know, personally, I think you should be sitting in bed. You should be getting catered to for that week. Relax, do what you need to do, get yourself in the best health possible, and then, hop right back in. But the funny thing is, like, just look at the scenario. Look at how, when it comes to the Hollywood pedo scene, they've used Cat Williams. You know, they had Cat come out when the Biden Epstein list was first, given out, and it was just a bunch of scattered papers and shit. It wasn't a list of anything. It was a couple days later that Cat Williams just suddenly appears out of nowhere on the Club Shay Shay show. And what's he do? His whole focus is to get people focused on black people. The black guy is trying to get people to focus on black people for a negative. He's not talking about the Epsteins, the Weinsteins, the Terry Richardsons, the endless stream of Jays that have, and did all kinds of crazy shit in Hollywood. Not talking about that. He's like, focus on the black guy. Focus on... It's what they do. It's how they... When they were putting Netanyahu's supremacist coalition into power, that's when they used Kanye. That's when Kanye spoke up. Kanye tricked you. Kanye made it sound like, I'm going to go after the Jay. I'm going DEFCON 3 on the Jays, whatever the fuck that means. And said he could say what he wants and this, that, and the other. Kanye just played the role. He did as he was supposed to do. He provided the example. He said that he can say anything he wants because he is also Semitic, because black people are Semitic. He said that everyone in Hollywood has Jays controlling them, has Jays in their contracts who make money off of them. So he threatened, he exposed, and he, showed pride, said, stood up. And lo and behold, while he's doing that, they're putting in the most supremacist coalition, openly supremacist coalition Israel's ever had in office. And then, when it came to the follow-up, where Kanye's going to drop names and all this other shit, he talks about Michael Jordan, he talks about Jay-Z, Beyonce, he talks about LeBron James. He tries to get you to look at black people. It's the same narrative over and over again. They use their people to infiltrate. And you'd be foolish to think that they give this shit to us for free. They give us these platforms, these social media platforms for free, and they don't interfere with it. That's stupid. If they're going to interfere on the highest levels, why wouldn't they interfere on the lowest ones? Yeah, you better leave, dumbass. These are all pedophile genocide supporters, because they're definitely not opposed to it, that's for sure. You know, all of these comments that come through from these fake pages and bullshit like that. What do you really think that's like real human beings out there that are like, yeah, I don't care about pedophilia. I don't care about genocide. I don't care that we're all slaves, that they steal our money. I don't care about that shit. Now, who's going to do that? Nobody in their right mind is going to, have these conversations and support the other side. You might not know what you're talking about, so you're like, yeah, everybody's allowed to, religious freedoms and all that other, but you might say shit like that.
Oh. Start over.
But that's before you realize what's going on. What's up, dude?
Can't eat this.
Oh. Did you try?
Yeah. You can't chew through that, bud? Your teeth aren't too
I mean,
bad?
does it make sense? So the dumbass is going to acknowledge the bot comment, but not acknowledge the pedophile, genocide supporting, slave, not any of that stuff. Really? That's what real people would do? You make it make sense, guys. The only reason these guys are here is because I allow them to be. I'm their God, basically. And they obsess over me, and they, anytime I go live, they're here. And it's because I let them be here. If they were some sort of issue, if they were, they made me look bad, then I would be, I'd get rid of them. But I allow them to be here because they prove the stupidity. There's a lot of people that just don't understand, like, how stupid things are. They think I'm exaggerating when I talk about it. And it's the example that's provided that's so, perfect. I'd rather have these guys on here talking their shit than people just agreeing with me. Because you could get by with people agreeing with me. Well, those people just agree with whatever you say. That'd be one thing. But when you have people that are clearly here for nefarious purposes, clearly here because they're mad at me or whatever, and instead of actually debunking or even engaging any of the things I'm talking about, they want to talk about stupid shit. It's them acknowledging I'm right. Well, you're right about this or that. Let's talk about something else. That's basically all it is over and over again. like this doofus, he wants me to block. Why would somebody want me to block them? Somebody who comes here every and they want me to block them, then why wouldn't you just not come here? You just don't like the fact that I allow you to be here. Some weird sort of power trip. And none of you would be like this in my face. Every single one of you would cower. Because you're cowards. You're pedophiles. You're genocide supporters. These are people who lurk in the shadows. These are the people who make fake accounts. I don't have any fake accounts.
No, he doesn't.
Strange, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, the she said the intake recipe.
It's all right in front of you.
She's gonna put in.
And the fact that they do it, they be the example. I just what else can I show you? I can read you all the stuff that we're supposed to read. I can talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about, and I can literally point to all these examples of it. Nobody does that to me. Nobody addresses what I'm saying. They don't even deny being pedos. What does that tell you? Normal people, you call them a pedo, they're gonna get really upset. Not these guys. These guys are they're tough guys. I can go live for 2-3 hours here. They'll be here the whole time. They got nothing else going on. It's Saturday. It's Saturday and they're here. Whether it was the morning or at night, they got nothing else going on. Do you really think those are real people?
Right.
Real people who just happen to be on YouTube at the exact moment I go live every time and then just come and spend their day here, begging for my attention.
Yeah.
Too stupid to actually engage in any sort of real conversation.
Right.
Does that sound like real people? Well, that's not real people. This is Israeli bullshit. This is Team Jorge. And I've read you guys what Team Jorge is many times. And if you need to, go look it up. Team Jorge answers all the questions.
Anything else? She hasn't talked to Nick yet.
Team Jorge shows you exactly what I'm talking about. This is how they operate. This is if you compare it to what the bigger picture is. When you compare it to the news and the governments and all that shit. Look what's happening in our country right now. They even got Bruce Springsteen talking about it.
So
that freedom of speech is being not stifled, but punished. And it's being punished over speaking out against a foreign country, committing genocide against another foreign country, using American-made weapons and planes and all that shit. Like you in this country, you're allowed to protest the United States. You can fly your flag upside down. You can talk shit about the government all you want. You can do all that. But talking about Israel, that's not allowed? How does that even make sense to people? You're seeing it in real time. For years, I was telling you this shit was going to happen. And I was, it was a lot harder to do because it was a wait and see kind of thing. I mean, there's still plenty of examples of it, but the genocide that's taking place right now, I predicted it months in advance. Months in advance. I was saying it at April or May of 2023. If Israel doesn't do a false flag and then institute or initiate a genocide afterward, I'll quit. I'll quit. I'll stop doing everything I do. And I was right. And I've nothing but right. And as you know, every day passes, I'm more and more correct. There's more and more of these fake bots that come through, and you know, I always say, like, if you're insisting that you're a real human, then you're even worse. You're an even bigger loser.
Absolutely.
At least if it's just bot profiles they're doing as they're programmed to do. But when you try to say, no, I'm a real person who obsesses over you and begs for your attention, doesn't deny being a pedo, doesn't deny, you know, any, like, that says so much more about you.
You know, they were both talking about what they can go do.
But I don't believe it, man. I don't believe that real people are this much of losers. I mean, I just don't. It's
She's gonna be very depressed. This is a hard blow.
like, it's silly.
Please don't leave her alone.
It's silly. And the thought, like, to then think again, think about it. These guys think that obsessing over me, watching everything I do, begging for my attention and never proving me wrong, is somehow going to be a demotivator? Like, how stupid do you have to be to fall into that category? You know, I mean, it's just stupid.
There's no heating element. It's cold water.
So wait, I gotta just. So if I do the thing, that makes me the bigger loser because I do this thing and then you obsess over me. Like, this is the stupidity. This is the same person that begged for help the other day because they couldn't find anything I was wrong about. Please, somebody else come in here and tell Guy what he's wrong about, please.
You know, and then
It's fucking silly. And I you know, I ask you, like, it seems like it should be, like, pretty simple. You know, this isn't, again, think of it like it was a hearing or something in the government. And they were talking back and forth. I mean, you're basically used to it because that's what Trump does. But in any other situation but Trump, think there's a debate going on and the topic is XYZ. And the person keeps coming and being like, yeah, but I don't like your haircut. What does that have to do with the bigger picture? I mean, these guys, all they want to do is talk about me. I talk about the big picture, they talk about me. And what they're trying to do is trying to dissuade anybody who's watching from maybe thinking, hey, this guy's making sense. You know, they don't want you thinking that way and understanding what's going on. So, you know, they try to attack me, which I've already shown and proven for quite some time that all they do is motivate. And real people get it. Like, there'll be real people that come through, and the real people see it. Say the same shit. Why would anybody do that? I love this clown. The clown that's talking is the one that begged for help. If you told me I was wrong about something, how come you won't just reiterate it? Shouldn't be that difficult, especially since you love getting the attention. Why wouldn't you just be like, I told you were, oh, I forgot. Last time, every time he told me he was wrong, it was delete, or what I was wrong about. Not that I'm wrong. What I'm wrong about and how it deleted his comments. That's the argument. That's the argument. I mean, it's just, it's fantastic. And I appreciate it. I what can I say? If anybody thinks this is a negative, then you're just not paying attention. And I know that anytime I need to, I can say to somebody, just come watch the live feed. You'll see. It'll be a bunch of weird ass fake profiles that talk a bunch of shit but don't actually address anything. Nobody ever sees anything like this, right? Nobody sees this type of interference because nobody talks about the shit like I do. And you see the same crybaby beg for attention bullshit over and over again. And literally nothing ever addressed. Like, I love reading you guys the narrative of something and then picking it apart. And I beg, like, why won't you do that back to me? Pick apart what I'm saying and tell me what I'm wrong about. How I'm wrong. And you can't. There is no I'm wrong about the J slavery or the cult and that we shouldn't accommodate it. Why should we accommodate such a crazy ass cult that literally cuts and sucks on bloody baby penises? You know, the cult that's the only group that's ever associated with well poisoning, with blood libels, draining people's blood so they can use it for ritual purposes. This is a narrative that has supposedly followed them for hundreds of years, 1,000 years. And yet, you know, and nobody else gets it. Nobody else gets that same treatment because it's you know, it's the truth, and it's disgusting, and it only belongs to them because they're the only ones disgusting enough to do such horrible shit.
Yeah, I put Ebony's number on there and Chase's.
You know, it's literally how Israel was founded. It started with well poisoning and something called Operation Cast Thy Bread, where they would poison the drinking water systems of the cities that they were going to then attack because they knew that the people would be compromised. I mean, it's just fucking insane.
So I put next to her name, intake and weekend nurse. So we don't know what her nurse and her hygiene.
Matt is a dumb bitch, right? There's no addressing anything else. If I'm wrong, like this shouldn't be so difficult.
I told Gary and Alex too.
All you had to do is pick something. Pick something I'm wrong about. Start talking about it, but you can't do that. You're doing everything you can to avoid that. And then because I've had enough, and I don't, you know, why would I even bother to read this dumbass's he's not gonna. The only thing he's ever done, reality-wise, is beg for help because he admitted he couldn't do it. I can't come up with anything this guy's wrong about. Somebody else come up with something, please. Help me out, please. Silly. It's silly. I'm talking about all kinds of shit. You can pick any topic you want. You could pick anything. Well, no. Stay on topic. Talk about what I'm talking about. And tell me what I'm wrong about. You won't. Just like you don't deny being a pedophile.
Yep.
You know, just like you don't deny the genocide. Well, Matt will say the genocide's wrong, but nothing else. Oh, right, the genocide's wrong. Let's not figure out why there's a genocide happening, though.
They're going to take all of the medical stuff.
Like, what's up, dude? Yeah, what's up?
To free you guys
It's just silly.
energy.
It's just how these pigs operate.
You don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, do I have to help her with the shower or any of that.
Go find it. Go find the interview where the J is being grilled about what they do, and they,
Time alleviated.
like, I've seen so many videos where people actually will go live with the J. And they'll talk about, yeah, we are so good. We cut their heads off. We cut the heads off of those kids. I raped those kids. I mean, I shared the video these last couple of days. I've shared plenty of those videos showing you them acknowledging it, that they rape children, that they cut their heads off. They're proud of it. There's so many videos. One of the newest things that the Israelis are doing the Jays, is making videos where they're pretending to be Palestinian hostages. And the kids will pretend like their hands are cuffed and they'll do like a little dance with it.
The more she feels
I mean, it's everywhere.
competent enough to handle
It's
it,
everywhere.
the more
You are absolutely a fucking pedophile, Matthew. Absolutely, you're a pedophile.
bumbling bozos.
I'm not worried about your slander
All
comments.
that's going to do is stress
That's
out
slander. Shut up, pedo.
a million.
It's only been weeks now that he finally admits it, or finally says it. I'm not a pedo. Yeah, you are. You're a disgusting pedo piece of shit.
I was trying to improvise on.
You're a J fucking pedo.
I just started laughing.
And I'd love to see it. See, again, this is how stupid you are. I'm talking about something and you're saying I'm not picking a topic. Like this is how funny it all is. Right?
You know,
This is just how they operate.
God, this is one of those things.
And it just doesn't matter what's talked about. This is how they operate. Seriously, if you Instagram is actually a lot better for the Palestinian stuff. There's a fighter called Jake Shields. Jake Shields shows a lot. There's a Instagram page, Mothers Against Genocide, and there's so many pages, and they just show it's video after video. The only videos that come out of Israel are the Israelis celebrating genocide, having music concerts. There was a concert not a couple days ago where one of the guys with an Israeli flag tied around his neck like Superman style, like a cape, was, the words were, who doesn't have electricity and who is getting starved? And the crowd goes, Gaza, Gaza. Like, it's so fucking insane. It's insane. Reported for slander. Oh, let's help you out then. There you go. Now you don't have to worry about it. You got what you wanted.
Where I only have the 16 and I don't have.
If you're the kind of coward that acknowledges, oh, I'm reporting you because I can't deny what you're saying. I can't debunk what you're saying. And you don't deserve to be here.
Right.
It's crazy, man. It's just crazy.
Exactly. We'll see when you're not used to having
Brightmore? What's up, Brightmore? You live in a terrible place.
So once you actually have to run a household and you have 50 million things that you're trying to remember, then those little tips and tricks do a world of good.
I wish I could pull the trigger on all these fucking idiots. I wish I could. I wish I could eliminate the entire fucking species, man. I mean, maybe it's a age thing. What's up?
I just found more bounce breaks. Can I have one?
Yeah. It's I'm way too old for bongs. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, you know what? After you
Bongs are stupid.
she held him like baby the whole time.
Um,
Walked around with him, just held him the whole time.
the whole concept of being a troll, like,
What makes it worse?
let's just say you really are a real person who's involved in some sort of troll group.
Carried around like a prince.
Why would you troll the guy that thinks we should kill pedos and not use your army to troll like news people or government officials or whatever and trying to get them to do more? Interfere and all that. Why would you, like, I go from a common sense point of view. right?
That's not going to happen tomorrow.
Like you're not going to tell me what to think. I'm going to see it for what it is.
Yeah.
And when you sit here and acknowledge that you're a troll trying to interfere with,
And then she gets nasty with him.
you know, the kill the pedos discussion, eliminate the gay slavery discussion.
Yep. And then he doesn't understand when she's, forceful and nasty. It's very confusing.
You say a lot about you. I mean, I just can't. It's not something I can relate to. I always try to be empathetic, right? Even to the point where, like, if I was the, immensely inferior, physically, repulsive, extra stupid Jay, I would do the same thing. If I couldn't have intelligent debate, if I couldn't make arguments to the contrary, I would do everything I can to stop people from talking about it. Because that's the more people talk about it, the more likely you are to be outed, to be exposed. And to,
if he doesn't get anything, he's finding it to it.
The better thing is, like, if you were to, if you could, if I'm going after something, I'm going to debunk it. Like I've given Roop Raj a bunch of shit in the past. Roop Raj is a Fox News, Fox Detroit anchor. I think he's with Fox. Fox 2, Roop Raj. Yeah, that sounds right. And not once have I been like, you're Indian. You're, something stupid.
No, that doesn't.
I was like, dude, you have the position, right? Aren't you the newscaster? Don't you have the power to be able to say things and do things? You have a position in our society. People will listen to you before they'll listen to someone like me. Why aren't you calling it out?
Well, that could be too.
The funniest part is, Roop got so mad at me for trying to hold him accountable and responsible. He called the police and had the police call me and tell me I wasn't allowed to email him anymore. I said, well, why doesn't he just block my email? Well, that's not how it works. I said, yeah, it is. I'll email him again tomorrow. And I did.
And Broly will eat those, or if he drops them and walks away, then Mo will look him up. But, so I have to put, so I have 2 raspberry bushes, one that the dogs can pillage.
Look at how desperate it all is.
Put my tomato plants, in the
These are all people who think that like, it's funny because I'll read you the official, Wikipedia page or website of whatever it is, the Cochrane website or whatever it is. And the only thing they can ever do is act like that information's not good enough. Because they can't debunk it. Nobody can make any arguments for why we should put fucking fluoride in the water. So much so that you won't find it anywhere. All you're going to find is that, it's supposedly good for your teeth. But it's not. It might have a 3 to 26% chance of preventing cavities. That's nothing. If we were in a plane and I handed you a parachute and said this thing might have a 3 to 26% chance of opening, meaning it might not open at all, how many of you would strap it on and jump out of the plane? Nobody. But it's this. This is what should be being done to me is taking the things that I say and proving how stupid they are. You just can't. These dumbasses, they don't even think they sound stupid, right? They don't realize that begging me to tell them what to talk about just proves the point. And avoiding the thing I am talking about. Why aren't you just talking about what I'm talking about? Why do you need me to tell you what to talk about? More than anything, I'd love to know why we should keep accommodating the cult. You tell me why I'm wrong that we should eliminate that cult. We should get them the fuck out of here. This should be the 110th country that they get kicked out of. Please tell me. Follow the money. Yep. Follow the money, says somebody on a lower level. The people that print the money, they don't care about the money. The money isn't for them. They have endless supplies of it. All they do is add a zero to their digital bank account, and now they have more money. Money isn't about them having it. Money's about us not having it.
And fighting over it.
And fighting over it. Money is the proverbial fucking carrot on the stick. You're never going to reach it. You might actually catch a nibble of the tip every once in a while if you can get it to swing your way. Chances are you're never going to have it.
The ultimate distraction. It keeps us working 50, 60 hours a week.
Well, it's up there.
It keeps us wanting.
I mean, it's up there. You know, I don't know which is a more effective tool. Religion, money, politics. I don't know which one it is.
Money than religion, is my opinion.
Yeah, I think they're all in the same basket. All those eggs in the same basket. Yeah. So instead of actually acknowledging the point, now this dumbass says something like, "You're not correct all the time." Really? Really? So follow the money? Really? We should follow the money. Wow, you're the first person to ever say that. How come nobody's ever thought to follow the money before? That's it. All you got to do is follow the money. Whatever that fucking means, what does that mean? Follow what money? And if you follow the money all the way to the top, you run into the Rothschilds. Rothschilds being Jays, Jays control the money. It's pretty stupid. Like, this is the best they can do. One thing we got better than you got, I live in California. Who gives a fuck? So, this is another person that admits that at 8 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, they've set an alarm for 5 something so they can watch me. These idiots are getting up at 5 in the morning so they can watch me, so they can cry, try to get my attention, and talk about how it's not really the Jays. And then about your weed versus my weed, like, just stupid things people say. These little dick white guys always in their pissing contests. I might have a tiny penis, but I'm sure it's bigger than yours.
You keep an eye on Cow, don't let him go to my next.
Nathan?
Look at this cowardly bullshit. Again, doing everything they can to try to prevent and distract and, stop the conversation about Israel. Don't talk about Israel. Don't talk about these Jays. Why would any American think we should keep giving them billions and billions of dollars every year? I mean, it's just stupid. Do you honestly think these people are real? They're real Americans who are just like, yeah, fuck that. We don't need to keep our tax dollars. No, let's send more American troops over there so hopefully they can die. That's what we should do. We should send our American kids, 18, 19-year-old kids, over to Israel so they can die for some Israeli bullshit. Fuck yeah, that makes sense. It's just goofy. It's just crybaby goofy shit. Constantly trying to constantly expose their obsession with me instead of. And the thing is, most of you don't know it. You don't know the Netanyahu bullshit. Most of you don't know who Bezalel Smotrich, Itmar Ben Gvir, and you don't know this shit. You're just dumb. You're dumb because they want you to be. You don't understand what the Abraham Accords are. You don't know what a memorandum of understanding is. You don't understand any of this shit, and yet you're trying to. It's like if I was a fucking concrete guy, and you've never done concrete in your life, but you're gonna try to tell me how the whole thing works. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's just amazing. It's amazing how it always works, and you see that this same thing, which is all it is validation for me, and it should be validation for you guys too. When you realize that there's no arguments that can be made against me, that they have to go drudging the bottom of the well there, trying to scrape and pick whatever they can. You have a dumb haircut, your beard, but whatever they can come up with. Your weed, my weed's better than you. Whatever they can come up with. You see it for what it is, at least you should. If I was wrong, they would simply address what I'm wrong about. They're here to be a negative. They're here to be a nuisance. And the best thing you can do in that position is make that person look foolish because you debunk what they're saying. Just like I do with all of their dumb comments. But hey, I got some dinner to eat, so I know whenever I come back, you cowards will be here refusing to address what's being said. You pedophile, piece of shit, Israeli cowards. And, I'll just pick up wherever I left off. Go get your free download. www.the-bilderberg, BILDERBERG-group.com. Go watch Hollywoodism. It's the answers to all of this. And go check out the newest songs on Facebook, the videos for them. I know I'm going to keep going. I know I'm 100% motivated by what I experience. And there's never anything that ever comes through to make me second guess myself or question, am I on the right path? Of course I am. If I wasn't, it wouldn't be this weird. You just wouldn't see this bullshit like you do. So, you guys have a great day, and as always, you pedophiles, well, you kill yourself.